Hey, welcome to the February 2017 edition of the Bizarre Briefing. I'm Bryce Castillo, joined by, as always, with Brandt Hughes.
Hey, that's me.
And Max Gilliland.
That's me.
Gilliland.
Yeah, something like that. Something Scottish.
This is
This is Gilliland.
Right.
As a Castillo, I should have gotten that.
Yeah.
This is our behind-the-scenes podcast about all things Bizarre Magic, things like Scam School and Modern Rogue and Scam Stuff and Scam School Remix and Night Attack and all the podcast stuff that Brian does. And, we just give you a real honest look at the things that we don't know and our once a month attempts to get on the same page. Though we just had a big lunch meeting, which I think
We did.
Oh, yeah.
we talked about a few months ago, and I'm glad that we're keeping to it. We're not doing a monthly.
No, it looks like
no,
we're shooting for quarterly meetings.
Yeah, which
so
is
in the middle of every quarter, we go to Rudy's and we chat it out.
yeah, we had a good one.
Yeah.
And this is where I would have segued into our fourth hands today, but unfortunately he was a little bit busy, tied up. But I don't know. I don't know the best way to approach this now that he's not here.
All right. Well, okay. So we've been looking for some extra help.
Right.
We found some extra help. If you've been paying attention to the description of episodes of Scam School, then you would already know this, but literally nobody has ever seen anything below the fold in any description of any YouTube video ever made.
Ever.
There's a description?
See?
Right. Show more.
But yeah, just recently we had a Scam School episode go up with that was edited by Jeff from Rage Select.
Yeah, Jeff Schuessler.
Yeah.
That was the 11-cent slide, the remake of the 11-cent slide puzzle. And that was great. I think. Let's take it back further from that episode first.
Okay.
We're looking for more hands to do editing stuff because ideally we would like to do more Modern Rogues and more different types of video stuff. And the only way we can do more video stuff is if we have more people to do them, because our videos are kind of harder, more involved than say, Let's Play stuff, which is it's not a dig at him, but you look at big channels on YouTube and they are like PewDiePie and Game Grumps and stuff where it's easier to do, just on the technical side.
Sure. And so like my schedule's totally filled up, so it's going twice weekly with Modern Rogue is like a pretty high priority for us. Right. But obviously we want to do that right. We don't want to do like just garbage episodes.
Keep the quality intact.
Right.
Yeah, and that takes time.
And to be honest, like, I think that you were the best person to do more Modern Rogue episodes because I feel like you still have like the most. I feel like out of all of us, you would have the most comfort steering that ship, just in terms of what the Modern Rogue still is or is when there's a second episode a week or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which is complicated by the fact that you also do Scam School and an ad and Scam School Remix every week. And so the sooner that we can get Remix and the full Scam School episodes off your plate, the sooner we can get more to Modern Rogues out.
Yeah, and Remix isn't that big of a deal. It's usually like 3 hours a week, but
sure, but it's something.
It's still,
but it that usually ends up being my Sundays, and then Scam School is the big one, and ads are a big one because those take up half my week.
Right.
So
not anymore.
Well,
sort of
soon, hopefully soon. Not anymore.
So right now we're kind of for the past however long it's been, we've been doing an alternating thing where. It's a Bryce week, it's Brandt week, it's Bryce week, it's Brandt week. And then typically the way that we do that is the week that we don't have to publish, we'll do the episode. And then the week that we do have to publish, we'll do the ad. And then we'll combine them all together and publish the whole thing as one product.
Right.
And so right now we're doing like a trade-off thing every 3 weeks with Jeff. But also this, like we're like one episode in. So
it's very informal. And I don't imagine that will last very long because Jeff, the episode that Jeff did, we gave him a very hard task with that episode on the technical side of that episode it was partly cloudy, so it was constantly shifting how bright it was, and there's maybe 5 minutes of footage missing on one of those cameras, and it might have been some good footage on that one.
Yeah.
And
we're continuing that tradition with Jeff's next episode where Brian's mic falls off at the end.
right. But I am that's at the very end, and I bet it's fine. Brian's a loud talker.
It sounded pretty rough, but I think Jeff can
balance the
Figure it out.
Yeah.
deal with the mics and get it in a sort of acceptable state. And it was only like the last 15 seconds of the episode or something like that.
That's
not too bad.
Nothing. That's
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
He
But
probably
it sounds pretty bad, but yeah.
but I mean, what I mean is, there's probably coverage of him saying the exact same thing during a B-roll or something.
Maybe.
Maybe. I think there's.
Probably.
We'll see.
These are workable. These are workable problems.
Sure. Worst case scenario, subtitles. I had to do that for our
Absolutely.
Scam School remix episode because the audio was so bad you couldn't understand what they were saying.
Really?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. And like Brian's game to do ADR if we need to ADR one or two lines of something.
Sure.
So we've been talking to Jeff about seeing if he's able to take on Scam School, and I think it's great. He has got an animation background, and he's been doing Rage Select for years. I mean, basically since was it crack? Not crack. What Hollywood.com, was that what it was? The thing
That sounds right.
that he was doing with
Spill.
with Corey and them, the gaming side. He turned it into Rage Select, and so he's been doing a lot of Let's Play stuff. And I don't know. I would ask him what his plans were for that, but I think he's still going to be doing that sort of stuff still. But it's great. It's really great, and I think we could see more Modern Rogues, 2 Modern Rogues a week, like by next month's episode. I feel like we could have a date.
Hopefully.
I feel like we
Yeah.
could have a date of
Yeah.
like, this will be the week that we have 2 episodes from now on. The big challenge I see is like, that means we have to double Modern Rogue shoots,
Sure.
which is,
I mean,
it's not the hard. It's not.
yeah, I mean, we tend to go pretty long stretches without shooting anything for Modern Rogue. So,
I think we're in one of those stretches. I don't know that historically we have the best habits about that. I mean, I guess
we still have episodes from October that we haven't released,
sure. But I mean, that was,
which is going up this week.
that's right.
Oh, good.
But I think it'll all be fine. I'm just
Yeah.
That's the thing, is we'll basically have to double whatever we're doing now,
Yeah.
effectively. But that'll be more Modern Rogue stuff, and I think people are really clamoring for it, which would be good, because I think the Modern Rogue channel, for all its success, is also there's one thing on that channel a week, and I guess that's very like simple, but it might feel also a little bare.
Yeah.
I don't know.
At this breakneck speed of people watching videos, it's easy to forget. Oh, right. There's still stuff here.
Well, I guess so. I don't know. This is where, if Brian was in the room, he would start talking about the algorithm, and
Let's not.
let's not.
Let's not.
Let's
Math
not.
numbers things. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
So check that out. More information soon.
Yeah.
And we'll
Breaking news in development.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll talk with Jeff and get his whole stiz next month. He was busy. He was actually editing a Scam School episode, and he was kind of
At this very moment.
Yeah,
That's right.
now.
So hearts and prayers. Let's talk about something that also has really sort of solidified since the last episode, which is what's going on with the giveaways and the codes and stuff. Because I think in the past 2 episodes we've been like, hey, there's going to be less giveaways, and then I think last month we probably said that there would be once a month. And so I think we've tweaked it even more. We found more tweaks.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So it used to be that every week we would do a video that had a puzzle or a code hidden in it, right? And then we would have a normal giveaway, which could be anybody could enter, and then we'd have a second pool of entrants for another prize if they figured out the code, or whatever the thing was that we were trying to get them to think of. But then, we're trying the story in sort of a different gear. Is that probably a good way to describe it? Like we're trying to see, because last year was pretty breakneck for Scam stuff, in the fact that we had dozens of releases last year of new products.
Sure.
Yeah.
And trying to see what the best pace for that is. Also, while Max is still getting acclimated to all of the store stuff that is just kind of up in the air still.
Yeah.
So that meant doing about a video a month, but then people still liked the codes and the giveaways and the puzzles and stuff. And as we're doing other stuff behind the scenes, doing those giveaway videos every week with less stuff to talk about is
Problematic.
right? You're basically inventing reasons to fill up this video space, which is a negative for what behind the scam or whatever these giveaway things are in the first place. And it's probably the least effective way to do it if the huge thing about it is giveaways or a code.
Right.
Right.
So what we settled on, and this was with last month's video, we just came in and like figured it all. Like I think it was one of Brian's just wild ideas. Was like, hey, we do these on Fridays anyway. What if we keep doing the codes and the giveaways in the comment section of the Modern Rogue, since those go up a Friday morning? We have them on like a limited time or first X amount of people who get it or whatever.
Right.
And that way we're still doing those because the people who love the codes really dig them.
Excuse me.
And we put time and effort into making them, challenging, while also using like actual cryptography, ciphers and encoders and stuff. So that's kind of what you're gonna see right now, is at least for this month, because I think when we talked about it, it was just, at least we're gonna experiment and see what does and doesn't work, because we very much went into it like, well, let's just do it because
Right.
Any way to streamline that whole process. Mm-hmm. So the idea is that there will still be about a video once a month, kind of checking in and maybe having a store release or something, and also kind of rounding up all of the puzzles from since the last video. In the meanwhile, there's a lot of we're trying to also promote discussion over on the Modern Rogue Reddit, modernrogue.reddit.com.
Yep.
About the codes and about the episodes, and I think it's at least spurred some discussion over there. Like I feel like it was pretty empty before,
More or less.
and I feel like there's more. I feel like
Activity, yeah.
there's a little bit of activity now. Like I feel like there's been a small but noticeable uptick in usage of the Reddit.
I gave Brian so much shit for how he spelled out the Reddit URL.
HTTP.
The last
colon
video.
right.
No, it was Reddit. He said reddit.com/r/Modern Rogue.
I was like, that's such an old person way of saying that. Everybody knows it's modernrogue.reddit.
Yeah. Or at least say
Well-
r/Modern Rogue. Like not even,
sure.
don't even reddit.com.
Yeah.
People get it. I don't know. So that's kind of what that format is going to look like for now. And we'll have a new video. I think of the 3 puzzles we've done, we've only actually publicly given out one of the answers, because we're still figuring all this out. And because we kind of had to like let people know they were super duper wrong this past week.
Yeah.
Which is a very natural transition into what happened this past week on these giveaway things. It turns out that when you use a Google form, and one of the fields that you ask people for information, when you ask them for their quote password, Google doesn't like that.
What?
Google thinks that that's kind of a
Yeah.
violation.
What?
Something about digital phishing.
And
Yeah.
like if you've ever used a Google form, it always says like right above the send button, like never send your password
Right.
through a Google form. So I think a robot, like a scraper robot, came by and saw it said password and flagged a few of the forms that had used the word password on it. But it meant by the time that we wanted to pick winners or get people to even still submit their answers, the form wouldn't work, wouldn't show up because it was blocked, basically. Google had locked us out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we started a new form immediately, but then because because we had basically missed the window of when the video went up, and 80% of the people at the time had seen it and like would have thought to submit anything had passed. What we decided to do was we'd start a parallel giveaway that would run an extra couple of days, and we laid out this whole story on the Reddit so that people had an extra chance to get in, and we would offer more of the prize, which was the lockpick, the wallet lockpick set, which is a new stealth product. It's pretty cool. And so we went to go look. I don't know how you did it, Max, right? Because you were saying that the Google form was still locked.
Yeah.
But you could still get the data out of it.
Correct.
I don't know how you did that.
I don't know either, but it works, so I'm not going to worry about it.
Okay. So looking between both data sets of that initial giveaway and this new giveaway, say somewhere between 200 and 300 people or so entering. And exactly one person got it right. And it made the puzzle really does make sense. I think what happened is I think, okay, we'll talk about it. I feel like I can talk more openly about it here because nobody listens to this.
Okay.
But the correct answer was Zing, Z-I-N-G, which is an onomatopoeia. Okay. That's all I'll say about that, is just how to get to it. But the most popular answer by a wide margin, a very wide margin,
2/3,
was objection, which was incorrect. People saw what the message decoded to, and they saw law degree and battlefield, and just thought, I don't know, Phoenix Wright or something. I'm gonna type objection, and then another 100 people did that. So it's a mixture of like people, the people entering making these logical leaps, and them not being the right logical leaps necessarily that we needed them to sort of figure out. One person got it though, and that person actually submitted it. He submitted his entry in the second form that we made on the first giveaway. So none of the people that we were waiting for to get their data from, and none of the people that we extended the deadline for got it right.
This reminds me a lot of DMing a Dungeons and Dragons game, where it's like, okay, I've set up this very elaborate puzzle for all of you, and then you just have to approach it in this very specific way, and all of these very cool things happen.
Suss it out.
And then they're just like, I don't know, I jump off the cliff. I'm like, that's not it.
No. So I believe his name was Nathan. He'll get his lockpick set. Congratulations, Nathan. Everybody else,
the one.
Figure it out. I think we'll have explanations for the answers when we do the next video. But
probably be good.
Yeah, because when we started doing the discussions about the codes in Reddit, the very first week, I got a lot of very helpful information just in terms of like how other people were solving the codes and what I could do to make them more challenging, right? So I found out that most people who were trying to solve our basic codes were not even like trying to decipher them with like the basic two cryptological things that we do almost every time. They were treating them like cryptograms, like the things you see in the newspapers, right? Where it's not, the code is not jumbled up in a mathematical sense. It's just random. And so they're using visual cues to like figure out what the letters are. So if it's an apostrophe something, oh, that might be an S or a T. Oh, this is a single letter, that might be an A or an I. The first word is probably going to be agents, and the something is probably gimme.scamstuffs.com. So that's like 10 letters right there.
Yeah.
And that was very interesting. That was surprising to me because I can encode. There's a weird imbalance because I can encode the messages very quickly because they're just tools that do it.
Yeah.
But then people willingly go the hard way to solve it, and I'm sure it's fun, right? I mean, there are reasons people do cryptograms, but I was just surprised that that's the way that people did it. So I've taken some of the advice from that initial discussion to try and make them harder, because the one thing we always heard every week was like, oh, these are too easy. And so now that we're focusing on codes and stuff, we're trying to make them a little harder. So that's all to say, get good.
Get good.
Do your research.
Yeah, I haven't
Russian
really
encryptions.
kept up too much with the codes, but they seem neat for people who are into that
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
whole
and,
deal.
You know, for as much as people are doing, brute forcing their way through solving them, like, we're using legitimate cryptological methods, like nothing fancy, right? We're not using, SHA 256 encoding and hashes and junk. But like, we're using real techniques, and we've spent the past year, doing them and explaining them. So I think there's some value in there, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for more of those. Get good, casual, and we'll see you next Friday. Brandt,
GG no re.
Brandt, you're I've noticed you've popped up on the Scam Stuff channel, youtube.com/scamstuff.
Yeah.
All right.
2 edit sessions. One of you editing a Scam School, and one of you editing a Scam School remix.
Yeah.
How was that?
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Those are things that sometimes I stream out to Twitch. One of these recordings I did not stream out. One of them I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought, I used to do this a lot back when I was editing on my laptop. I would stream out this kind of stuff a lot and archive it on my personal YouTube channel.
Right.
And then I thought, like the Scam Stuff channel could use a couple things, and I think these can be really informative for other creators and just for general viewers of the show,
Yeah.
just to see what kind of work goes into it. Because I think a lot of people just don't even think about the process of putting together an episode. They just see, oh, there's an episode, and here it is. And so to see, like, oh yeah, it's this whole thing, and there's 50 minutes of footage from 3 to 4 cameras, and I have to go through all that. I have to go through all the audio. I have to cut it up. I have to do a billion different things to it. And yeah, I think it's not the kind of thing that I want to do regularly, but I think it's the kind of thing that is nice to have up there sometimes.
Yeah.
I was thinking about putting up a modern Rogue edit at some point
Oh, that's interesting.
That'd be
as
fun.
well. So that way we'd have Scam School Remix and Modern Rogue all covered.
Yeah. Do you think comparatively Modern Rogue is a longer edit process than Scam School because it is more freeform a little bit?
So I would say, generally speaking, yes, but not if you include also the ad for Scam School.
Yeah.
Right.
But just the episodes themselves, yeah, Modern Rogue takes longer because Scam School, the actual episode process for me is just very mechanical and very just like muscle memory.
Yeah.
At this point, it's just like, yeah, I've cut this episode together already like 5 times in the past, so it's just another one of those. Modern Rogue is definitely its own beast, and there's also like fact checking with the Modern Rogue and stuff like that, which definitely not doing with Scam School.
Right. You would think they would fact check before the episode, but I mean, Jason goes and does research. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's also a lot of stuff where it's like, you know, they'll offhandedly say something, and I have to sit there and go, what are people going to say in the comments about them saying this? So like this past week we had an episode where you light up the flint, which is not actually flint.
it's graphite.
Well, no,
Is it not graphite?
no. So they light up the flint, they throw it down, and it makes a quote unquote flashbang, except there's no bang. It's just a flash, and it's not as bright as a flashbang. Yeah, I get it.
Mini flash.
it's fine.
Mini
Yeah.
flashbang.
Yeah, but yeah. So Jason said it's like a lead in a pencil or whatever, and I was like, oh well, I can hear people already going, actually, it's not lead. Anytime I can hear somebody like pushing up their glasses and going, actually, I have to go, okay, there needs to be something on here just to head that off a little bit and be like, yeah, I know. You don't have to say anything.
Right.
And so I went up and I looked. Oh, what are modern day pencil leads made out of and stuff like
They're
that?
not lead.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they're still technically called lead. The pencil lead is like the etymological term for that thing.
Yeah.
Right.
What if it's become pencil lead,
Ooh.
and that's like we're all doing it wrong because obviously it's not lead in pencils, but it's still.
It's from the element, plebeium, PB.
It wouldn't be the first time Americans bastardize pronunciations.
Probably not.
Of
Yeah.
any given number of words.
Yeah, language change.
Yeah.
Makes it awful.
But yeah, but also like a lot of people got onto us because like actually it's not flint, it's this composite, and it's like okay, sure, yeah, all right,
Yeah.
I mean, it is marketed as flint. If you want to go buy those, you look up lighter flints.
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
Can I get some combustion ignitions? What do you want, kid? Combustion ignition compounds.
But I mean, all that said, I do still appreciate people who are like, well, like. You're not wrong, but I hate to be this guy. Here's a bunch of information about lighter flints that you probably didn't need, but like I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Okay.
As long as it comes from a place of respect.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, so edit sessions are good.
Yeah. No,
is what I'm saying.
and I'm glad that you're. I don't know. Do you like doing the like? What is on top of like actually editing? You know, say this episode of Scam School. What are you recording all of this in real time too, including like your voiceover?
Yes.
Do you feel like that changes your process?
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if it's live streamed.
Oh, sure.
Because if it's
Oh,
live
yeah.
streamed, obviously you're talking to people, and that's a whole thing.
You don't swear at us as much
I mean,
on the internet, I assume.
Well,
well.
Not my problem.
And then, and yeah, and it's just a thing of, you know, when I'm recording the process, I tend to explain things a lot more than I would to myself.
sure.
Right. And I tend to kind of walk through things and go, oh, here's a cool thing that I never got the chance to show anybody. Let me go through this. So there's certain elements of that. It is kind of tough sometimes just to be like spontaneously creative, which I've always had a hard time doing with an audience. Like back when I was like, oh, I'm going to do photography and stuff. Like I did a lot of stuff where it's like I could do photography and literally nobody on the planet can see me doing my photography because that just lets me get in that creative mind space a little bit easier.
Right.
And so recording that stuff kind of shines the spotlight on me in a way that's sort of hard to do things. The big example I always had was in the Millwall Brick episode. There's a moment where a bunch of text comes up on screen and it says Millwall Brick and it's like and I was like, oh, that's a moment that I feel like we should have in this episode, but I spent like 30-45 minutes just trying to figure out how, like, what's a good way to approach this on the stream. And it's like it's a totally unnecessary moment,
graphic, yeah.
and it lasts for like 3 to 5 seconds. But I think that was a day where I went, okay, I'm just gonna turn off the stream and I'm gonna figure this out on my own. And then I did, and then it all just kind of came together.
Cool.
Nice.
But yeah, it's definitely a whole different thing. Yeah.
Thank you for like putting those up. I think they're really good behind the scenes things for what I think like the Scam Stuff channel is very much a behind the scenes sort of channel or purpose, you know. And I'm glad I'm glad that is something that you're putting the effort into.
Yeah, I was also thinking about doing another shoot day episode or whatever for Modern Rogue,
Cool.
to kind of follow our process, especially maybe one that we do in the warehouse or something or whatever. And then maybe I'll pair up an edit session with one of those episodes.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be nice.
That would
Yeah.
make, because you included the edit for that last Modern Rogue, but you like sped it up, right? You did commentary after the fact.
Yeah, I was just like, here's some broad strokes of what's going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. That'd be
Yeah.
really cool.
Definitely.
RR in the chat says, but more Let's Plays for Gadawag.
I mean, there are plenty on my personal channel.
Yeah. Well, so
I want to see some Hitman, some Rocket League.
so this is kind of an interesting thing because we're doing more Twitch stuff, and we recently moved all of the podcasts. Oh, I guess this was since last episode. We've moved Cord Killers and Weird Things off of their own Twitch channel, and we're just doing them all on the Night Attack channel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. To kind of like fill out, it will be easier for us to just fill out one channel than to have like a million different passwords and channels, and it's just easier to get to focus on one place at least.
Although I have to say, this is another step in proliferating the just call everything Night Attack. Just like everything's called Night Attack. You got a comedy album, call it Night Attack. You got a show, just call it Night Attack. It's all the same thing.
Okay. I think that it is I refuse to believe that it is a slippery slope, which is what I think you're arguing here.
I don't know.
In any case.
Brian's gonna come back and like, hey, we got the company together. Everybody's employees. Welcome to Night Attack LLC.
It's not. It's already
Also, I legally changed my name to Night Attack. Night Allen Attack. that is my name now.
Yeah. So, Max Trollbot saying Weird Attack and Cord Attack and the Morning Attack.
Sure.
The Daily Night Attack, a tech news show. Sure. But that's all to say. It's just in terms of Twitch and in terms of like people on Twitch, which is the whole point of doing Twitch stuff is to like reach out to and find new people through there. And even though the talk shows thing is new, it's also not like there is still like a paradigm of the people who are on Twitch of like they expect to follow a channel and not a show, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
And so I feel like it's just easier to do this. And so in like spirit of that, like I've been taking like 1 or 2 nights a week on the Night Attack channel to like stream games or do social eating stuff or like not attacks, you know, fun,
Yeah.
you know, trying to do do more community stuff and continue to use that channel because right now all the podcasting we would do on that channel happens 2 days a week on Monday and Tuesday, right? Well, and this show now is now instead of Monday on Tuesday. I guess we should have mentioned that at the top of the show. Hey, this is not on the last Monday of the month anymore. It's on the last Tuesday of the month.
Yeah.
Whatever. If they're not here now, do you think they're really?
That would be the problem.
Did they show up yesterday, Bryce? Are they not following us on Twitter and they showed up yesterday?
Good point. Good.
I mean, it is
It's
possible.
fine.
It's
but-
possible, right?
Yeah.
It's always
Though
like 5
if they
people.
showed up, they would have just seen the rock block anyway.
Yeah.
Where there's a million shows happening at once. Striker Rich says that we could call this the Bizarre Attack now. That's like an okay name though.
Ooh, wow.
So anyway. In any case, so I've been doing like Friday and Saturday or Saturday night slot. Like I feel like that's a time slot, and I've taken it. Like this past weekend, I did Friday and Saturday night playing Night in the Woods, and doing all the voices, which is
Taxing.
But that's fun.
taxing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as doing the visual novel stuff that I was doing on my own channel years ago, which is all dialogue, right? At least Night in the Woods has like moments that are just platforming for 10 or 15 minutes, and you don't have to like be doing a million voices. But that was fun, and that's the sort of thing where like they're like, I don't know, I feel like we've had little in jokes sprout out of like that stream, and this all culminated in me making a 10-hour video of a bit from that stream and from that game, and I think that 10 hours is very important, and I think you should go see that. I won't spoil it,
Powerful.
but it's
Captivating.
It's moving, and you'll find it at youtube.com/neshcom. It's important, and I think everybody needs to at least take a look at it.
After that, they can watch the 10 hours of Brian sitting in the rain video that I made 2 years ago.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It's Brian sitting in the rain for 10 hours.
It's looped? I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, part of me was like, if Brian had a wild hair about it, though, he would have.
I could see Brian doing that.
Because Brian has had wild hairs, which is like, let's make a movie. I just want to make a movie.
It'd be tough to shoot 10 hours continuous, though.
It would be.
You'd probably have to do like 2 cameras and then alternate between them, and then
Card
stagger
swaps.
the cards.
Yeah. Though I wonder if you shot at a low enough bit rate and a low enough resolution.
Like 480p.
Well, even
Just
like
be painful to
1080,
watch.
like a lower bit rate 1080, and a large enough card. I mean, they make big SD cards now.
What's the next
We'd have to
project?
get a pretty big SD card, but
They make pretty big SD cards.
sure.
I don't know.
It's a lot of work for a joke.
But Brian would be into it for like 2 days.
He would be into
Yeah.
it until the card arrived.
That's right. Hey Brian, seen those clouds in the sky? I got this Amazon package. You want to just do this rain thing? So in any case, this is all to lead it back to what we were talking about. If you were interested, like, I feel like the Night Attack channel has like slots. If you're interested for something like that, because I feel like that is also like I feel like that's an applicable thing for that channel, right?
Yeah, you could
Like doing edits of Scam School or Modern Rogue, right?
stream it. Yeah,
This is all to say,
hypothetically.
Sure.
here is something on a platter. In any case, so that's that. I also I think we talked about this last week or maybe the week after, but I have been doing social eating on the Night Attack pre-shows and on the Night Attack channel. Max,
So I don't know what social eating is. You're gonna have to clue me in here.
so we did talk about it a little bit, I think, last month, but social eating is a thing out of South Korea called mukbang.
Okay.
And it's a streaming. Don't make that face, Brandt. This is not.
I want to gauge your reaction and see like how normal or not this might be.
Part of me is like, well, I'm detached enough from this, but I also apparently do it twice a week now, so who knows?
Oh well.
But it's a type of live stream where you are eating food and talking to your chat room. So it's basically like having dinner with your chat room.
Interesting.
And so I've made food, and we've done
Yeah.
wacky snacks and stuff lately. I had a very fun time with seaweed on the last Night Attack pre-show, and gagged and almost threw up at this desk. So
Nice.
That's not
Sounds rougher than the scorpions.
Oh yeah.
yeah, oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
the scorpions went down easy. Like seaweed has bad mouth feel on its own. It has bad mouth feel.
Not if you dry it.
How would you
with the-
compare it to shredded lettuce?
Worse, but in the same vein of bad mouth feel.
Okay.
Okay.
So put it on a burger and there's no problem. Like
And when we're talking about shred lettuce, I mean thin shredded Taco Bell lettuce, very specifically. No, on the top. Okay, hold on. On the topic of Taco Bell lettuce.
Okay.
Have you had their new naked chicken chalupa?
No.
It's the taco where the shell is white meat chicken.
I respect myself.
I'm ashamed
just
to say
enough to not eat it.
It's pretty great.
It's
Like,
good. It's good. It tastes like a chicken sandwich. First off, it tastes like a
Yeah.
chicken sandwich.
Aren't
It's a
they
problem.
discontinuing it already?
In some
hope
stores,
so.
they've
They're killing
discontinued.
people,
I went out and got one today. Is what I'll say. I didn't eat it because I got other stuff and I saved
So you
it.
just got it for fun.
I saved it. I saved it. That was my breakfast. I thought I would be hungrier. But the shredded lettuce on that tastes good because there's no grease on it. So there's a grease element to the shredded lettuce that you get from like tacos, just like the plain soft tacos. I've thought this out a lot.
No, I can see it.
I have-
Yeah, that
okay,
makes sense.
okay.
Yeah. I follow.
I'll take you on your word.
Okay. So I received a new package today, and we'll have the first. I'll check out the Night Attack pre-show if you want to see what I actually am eating. But in the package, I noticed one thing and was very surprised at it, partially because of what it was, but also because of how much it actually was something that I needed.
Okay.
in my kitchen. Big Jim sent me a package, and he sent me along with a bunch of other snacks and goodies. He sent me Mama DeSalvo's authentic Italian sauce.
Hey.
Nice.
It's just a big jug of tomato sauce.
You know,
Awesome.
as much as I'm not a fan of sauce, like tomato-based sauce products,
One of the better ones.
pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And then we were tweeting back and forth because the mailroom he put the wrong apartment number on it, and so they gave it to that apartment because they were getting another package that day also and had already picked it up. Anyway, he was like, "Oh yeah, the sauce is for Bonnie." But I needed sauce. I want Mama DeSalvo's authentic Italian sauce.
We could just cut this out of the
Sounds pretty good.
podcast. Nobody has to know.
Well, and so he the reason he sent it for Bonnie is because it has no peanut products in it, and so
Allergy
she can give it-
safe.
Yeah,
There you
though it does
go.
contain soybean oil. Soybeans are like peanuts, right? They don't need this.
I don't know.
Big oversight.
Yeah. So social eating is apparently become a very large part of my personality. Like my
Interesting.
presence
Yeah.
on the internet apparently has become
Interesting.
social eating based.
To me,
awful.
social eating always reads as like a more socially acceptable, like alternate reality vaping. Like I feel like there's I feel like there's a
No, you're gonna need to explain that to me.
I feel like there's a certain like shared culture of like this weird thing that people get super into that I just
Sure.
I just
Social-
don't
social
understand.
niche.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
No,
I mean,
that's just That's just outsider culture. That's not a thing. You're just describing a thing that is obvious.
I'm pretty sure you're just vaping. Like get your social eating rigs and
Sure. Jack up
Yeah.
the ohms. Yeah. Oh boy. Sergeant Muffin says, "Gato, I'm with you." Come on, Sergeant Muffin.
these are just true facts, Bryce.
They're not. Social eating is not vaping. That's not a fact. You can't.
so is there social
There's no
vaping? Is
objective
that
I
a
said
thing?
it.
Like,
So it's a fact. That's just that's reality, Bryce. I'm sorry you had to find out this way.
All right. Okay. Let's talk about ads,
oh yeah,
Brandt.
Why not?
sure.
It sounded like you were going to make an ad on something.
Yeah, I was gonna shoot an ad right before this. Actually,
really?
Oh.
yeah. So I was gonna make an ad based off of Get Out
The movie Get Out.
Oh, yeah.
in theaters now.
So good.
It's
Heard that
it's
was
a very
amazing.
good film.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
We won't spoil anything here.
Okay.
So it's safe territory.
Yeah, I don't need to dig up the spoiler in graphic.
Right. But if you've seen the poster, you know that the protagonist has like tears running down his face.
Right.
I was gonna do an ad based off of the scene where that happens, which is a very good scene.
That's a very good scene, and that
Nice.
man,
And you could kind of see like where I could take that.
yeah,
But unfortunately, and I really pride myself on being able to like have like super quick turnaround on something like this. Like our Stranger Things ad came out 2 to 3 days after the season was released.
That was awesome.
And so I had seen the whole thing, and I was like, okay, I know exactly how to approach this.
and that was kind of a longer, more complicated ad too.
Yeah, and that went up before like most people didn't even have a chance to watch most of that by the time that ad came out. So I was thinking about doing the same thing because Get Out just came out this past week on Friday or Thursday or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that'd be so good. And unfortunately, I kind of came to the point of like I don't want to put it out, and it's such a good scene that I don't want somebody who
You don't want
has
to spoil it.
I don't want somebody who has cursory knowledge of Get Out to
Wow.
watch through it and
Right.
then not until the end of the ad realize this is Get Out.
And I've just
And you just spoiled the scene
Oh,
for me.
wow.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
also, I don't want to say at the beginning of the ad, hey, there are Get Out spoilers.
Don't
And
watch
then-
this
Yeah,
advertisement.
and then everybody's like, all right, I'll just skip it all. That's fine.
Man, yeah,
So-
that's a real
tough
wang.
Yeah.
man.
Because that's a scene I can imagine you're doing that scene. You know?
And it's very visual, and it's like, it's cool, and
Yeah.
We've done some stuff like a little bit like it, but yeah, and also I was definitely gonna try to replicate the tears running down thing.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna like find like some tubes of water and then like have them drip down and then like mask out the top and then have the top be just like a clean slate of
that'd
me.
be weird.
Yeah.
And then so it'd just be like tons of water running down my face. Maybe some other
Maybe in
time.
a few weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like God. Okay, can we just talk about how good Get Out is though? Get Out's like amazing.
Sure. In a totally spoiler free.
Totally spoiler.
It's really great.
It's amazing.
It like
it's really aware of it, and
it does a tremendous job of portraying a certain element of fear and paranoia in the Black community that is very rarely represented.
Yeah.
And it's represented in a way that even if you have no experience with what it's trying to express, you can totally like understand and empathize and relate with it.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And as somebody who has a little bit of paranoia and a lot of anxiety around people, I can relate to at least the first half of it with personal experience.
Yeah. God, it's just it's so good. I think the guys are going to spoiler and time it next Monday.
Okay.
So
Right.
check out cordkillers.com, subscribe, because it's great. Up until like a few days ago, it was 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and now it only has one negative review. And the guy that the negative review is from was kicked off of Rotten Tomatoes because he was. You can't tell somebody their opinion is wrong, but this guy was. My sense of it is that he was posting very contradictory reviews to things so that he would show up higher on Rotten Tomatoes. Because when you
that's
go to Rotten
shady.
Tomatoes, right, like
Yeah.
there's 140 reviews for Get Out, and his shows up because it's the only negative one.
Right.
And I think that algorithm is like, hey, let's mix it up. And so like he just like was kicked off the service for a long time.
Nice.
But aside
All right.
from his dumb review, he
Should be 100.
it should be 100. It's 100 asterisk. I'm gonna give it 100 asterisk.
I'm not a big fan of Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's skewed in a way, right? Because you get a positive vote if somebody's like higher than 50% feeling on it, or you know, it counts down if they're less than 50% feeling on it, and then it's just like, I don't know, it's just a weird distillation of opinion that doesn't allow any kind of nuance, and so I just feel like it's a weird metric.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Metacritic kind of has that similar issue, sort of.
Grain of salt. Yeah.
Though game reviews are more like numerical, like have wider point systems generally. I don't know.
GGG asks, scary. It's kind of a little bit more tense, but
It's tense.
there is some scare stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people have asked me like about jump scares and gore, and it has a handful of all of that.
Yeah.
But it's not Saw.
Right.
You know, it's not Funny Games. Well, no, it's more like Funny Games because Funny Games is all about tension. In any case, it's fantastic. It's really fantastic. I think. I walked out of it, and here's how good that movie was. The draft house where I was at, they, you know how they pass out your receipts, or they do last call before, you know, a certain point in the movie.
Right.
And when the movie was over, they did not have anybody's checks out in the theater, and it was like 1:30 a.m. And that was infuriating because that's the one thing they're supposed to do is have that stuff done by the time the movie's over. And regardless of all of that, of like, because no one was like, "Hey, just sit in your seats. We'll come and get your checks out." It was just like everybody looking around and being like, "Did you get your?" And I almost walked out. I was almost just like, "I'm not
Hey,
gonna wait. You swiped my card already, so
Right.
Yeah.
you shouldn't get a tip. But I'm sure you'll give yourself a tip anyway." In any case, I still like was blown away after all of that.
Sure.
Like it's really fantastic.
I sat next to some real jokers
Really?
in the draft house, which you don't get. It was like
Yeah.
Were they disruptive?
Only
Did you
that's
raise a
kinda-
card for a manager?
well, so it was infuriating because they weren't bad enough that I felt good about raising a card.
Really?
So it was like,
Was it whispering? Is that what it was?
so there was a group to the left of me who it was their first time there, and there was a little bit of whispering, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
And then there was a group to the right of me, and they both seemed to kind of like laugh just a little too long. Like
That's
yeah.
well, like
obnoxious.
there's a scene where there's a moment that's played up for laughs,
Yeah.
and then because of how it's portrayed, like the longer the scene goes on, like the more serious and dour it sort of turns.
Right.
And they just kind of kept laughing, and I was just like,
That's sort of.
and
I understand. I feel
like
that now.
ruining the tone just a little bit, and then also just a little bit of talking, and it's like, if I raise a card, I'm an asshole because you're just enjoying the movie.
Sure.
But man, I don't like you that much.
It was funny because by the end, I went and saw it by myself, and by the end of it, I was realizing how vocal I was being, just in terms of reacting and laughing or like gasping or responding to whatever was happening on screen.
Right.
And there would be little lulls of like, oh, am I? I mean, other people are reacting too, but man, that's a good movie. And I think you did make the right call by not
Yeah.
Right.
calling a manager to.
I mean, I've dealt with a lot worse in normal movie theaters.
Sure.
So yeah, it wasn't that bad. Yeah. But it was really frustrating because I was like, if you guys would just be more annoying, I could actually do something about this.
But it was their first, or at least one of those groups was their first time.
Yeah.
So it's like
You got to teach them a lesson. So that
No,
way, when they
you
come
gotta-
back, when they come back, they know.
No, they learn.
They know.
They learn by example. They learn. They're like dogs. They learn by example.
Yeah. Positive reinforcement.
Sure.
Yeah.
Give them a treat when they're quiet,
Yeah.
and
that's
then
right.
ignore them when they're talking.
Though positive reinforcement would also be the psychological positive reinforcement would be calling a manager on them when they're talking to teach them a lesson.
Or if they're not talking, call a manager and tell them you're doing a great job. You're doing great.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Last couple of things. The Bizarre Briefing is the sort of show that doesn't always come. Of all of the shows that we touch, Bizarre Briefing is the one that has the most lax release. So you could be hearing this.
Yeah.
You could be hearing this in April. I don't know. No, you'll probably be hearing this. You actually might be hearing this in time because I don't have an episode of Scam School this week.
Nice.
But we are doing a Scam School shoot this Thursday at 2:00, and then it'll be kind of going until question marks at the Rusty Mule here in Austin, Texas, the very far outer limits of Austin, Texas. But
Still counts.
if you're around, check it out. We're going to try to shoot a lot of Scam Schools to get stuff banked because of more behind-the-scenes stuff that could pop off at literally any minute. In the meantime, we also should talk about South by Southwest, which is coming up. And I guess what we'll talk about is that we're not confirmed or booked anywhere yet.
Nice.
Whoops.
But we're also we are looking to do it on the 11th, March 11th. That's a Saturday at the Brew Exchange, which is where we did it last year, in the afternoon. So I'm not going to say that is when and where it's going to be because I haven't heard back from them, and I would like to think we left a good impression last year. But then I do remember that we did sriracha facials.
Oh God.
And
Real liability.
yeah. So who knows? But that's the day and time that we're looking at. So, we always do the first weekend of South by Southwest, which is what the 11th is. It's during Interactive. So just like you got good odds.
Right.
Historically, you got good odds.
And probably filming Night Attack during then.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
That would be the Live Night Attack. Sorry, that's the Live Night Attack comedy podcast. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have the Possum Posse again because you can't have Austin Night Attack without Possum Posse. And I think we're gonna have Dual Core again.
Oh, cool.
He's gonna be around. Also, I know the Jeep is around. Turquoise Jeep will be around. They have a show that night, so I don't think they can get wasted. But I think they'll be around, and I think they want to hang out. So
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Just saying. Anything else we want to talk about? I think we blasted through all of this stuff. I think
doing good.
I think we expected to talk with Jeff a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Because I think this is so far we are
Next
not
time.
we are not yet at an hour on this podcast for the first time in
really?
maybe ever. What are you guys up to? I don't know. We can do a little bit of small talk. We always do a little small talk here.
Sure.
What's
Yeah, I've been working.
how the edits going, editing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Edits. Getting by. I had some client work this weekend. Kind of crunched up.
working for some big names, some big names you can't talk about, I
Right.
think.
I mean, probably. I didn't sign anything.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
In due time.
Yeah. How are you doing, Max? I mean, you've been in the town for a couple months now.
Yeah,
like are
loving
you,
it here.
You settling in?
Yeah, no, Austin is fantastic. It's so great. Not used to the traffic yet. Even at rush hour, they go like 95. I don't know
Yeah,
what's up with that.
we did pretty fast rush
Yeah,
hour.
I love it. It's just
So are you driving during like rush hour time? Because like Brandt and I don't really travel during rush hour really for
Which
work
is
stuff.
smart.
I kind of just don't travel at all. I haven't been here in like 3 weeks.
That's true.
Brian's always like, "You want to come over just before rush hour and have a meeting?" It's like, well,
Can we do it earlier than that?
yeah, no, but no, I love it. It's good. Yeah, doing more stuff with the store, kind of warehousey, this and that.
Awesome.
Yeah, if anyone listening and your mystery boxes, something's wrong, let me know. Scam stuff, store, Gmail would be good. So, but
Yeah.
so
Awesome.
how you
Nice.
doing?
I'm doing good. I mentioned I played Night in the Woods. That's an
Yeah.
interesting
Excellent.
game.
Yeah, it looks good.
It was longer than I thought it would be, but it was also $20, so I guess that makes sense. But I think it's cool, and I'm gonna play it again because I feel like that's a game. Even when you go out of your way to try and find a lot of stuff, because there's a lot of like exploration and dialogue and just quirky charm, you still have to make choices, and I think those choices are exclusive. So you end up seeing different things every time. So
Cool.
I might just do that offhand, but I did a long play basically of it, and those VODs are up on YouTube. They're on youtube.com/bbpedia videos. If you want to hear me do voices for all these characters, it was a lot of fun. By the end of it, the dad started off as one thing, and then he ended up as New Yorker voice, and then he ended up as John Travolta New Yorker voice.
Okay.
The mom
Nothing wrong with
was John Stossel for pretty much the whole time.
Interesting choice.
Yeah.
I gotta watch this.
The neighbor ended up sounding like do you remember Ned from South Park, the guy who you talk like this?
Oh,
Yeah.
It's kind of that. Yeah.
That sounds like not a smart voice choice for somebody who's going to have to do it for a long time. I don't know how much that character
That
talks.
character is has very little.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
No, it would have been weird. Yeah, like thankfully I made the protagonist have my voice.
Yeah, that's what you do. That's
Excellent.
the
That's what
trick.
you have
That's
to do.
always.
But also, I mean, spoilers because it goes to the end of the game. But there's some moments where like I really got into it, just like feeling these moments.
Right on.
There's some good moments in this game, and if you just want to listen to it, youtube.com/bbpedia videos.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, well let's wrap this thing up because we've got other things to do. Max,
Yo.
been seeing you tweet. I think it's pretty cool.
I've been tweeting things. Yeah. Go follow me, Dada DJ Old Fashioned on Twitter. Life, liberty, all those thoughts.
Yeah, don't pound on the table.
Pursuit of messing up the audio. It's what I do. I'm gonna tweet that right now.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Actually, you tweeted something the other day. Call an old friend.
Go call an old friend.
I did that.
Did you do that? Was it
And,
awesome?
It was nice, or it was very touching because his dog had just died.
Oh.
And it was very nice to like reconnect and like commiserate about that.
Good for you. Right on.
Yeah, so that was fun. Fun's not the right fun's not the right word, but it's the first word I thought.
Good old time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's at DJ Old Fashioned on Twitter. Very
That's
cool.
me.
Brandt, what's going on, man?
if you want to find me, go to the No Clip channel on YouTube and check out the latest No Clip doc about mysteries. And you can find me for about 15 seconds in that video.
15 seconds.
Nice.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Was that from the F1 meetup that they did?
No.
What do you?
So Danny put out a call to patrons, and he was like, "Hey, send me in stories about mysteries in video games or whatever that you might have."
Oh,
and I was like, "Well, like I don't have any of those." A lot of people were talking about like rumors, like, "Oh, if you in this game, if you go into this truck and you find this Pokemon over here," and
Sure, the Mew truck. Right.
yeah.
of course.
And I'm like, well, I grew up having none of those experiences.
What, really?
Oh,
No
man.
Yeah, like-
urban legends?
No.
Or- what? Really?
None.
Peekaboo?
Zero. No.
What?
Like I don't even know what you just said, honestly.
Really? Oh.
I mean, it sounds like a Pikachu thing.
Well, yeah. Before the
Well,
second
sort of.
generation came out, the TV show had Meryl on it, the water Pokemon,
okay.
and it was it's a cute sort of mousy looking thing. So it was like, oh, that's Peekaboo.
Huh.
Or no, maybe there was an episode where there was a Pikachu who had blue pads on his cheeks. No, I actually
Interesting.
don't remember.
Anyway, yeah. So I had none of those, but I thought like, okay, well, what are some things I could contribute? I had three items.
Oh, wow.
One was Fez, which I think would be great for that, but I just didn't have enough to say about it, so I kind of pushed that to the back. The other one was GM Island in World of Warcraft. Which was a secret hidden island that all of the GMs could go to.
Oh,
no way.
And some people like found their way to there and got like footage of it and stuff. And it's weird and like half built and stuff, but it's like a super bannable offense or whatever.
Getting there or
Yeah.
Wow.
Just being there
That's too bad.
could get like your account suspended and stuff like that. I don't know if it's still there, but I remember that was like a big thing at the time.
Yeah.
But I ended up not doing that. Instead, I just went for in Halo 3. There's this weird glitch where you can get two people into
Is that the dumpster glitch?
a dumpster.
Oh yeah.
And then if you have like rocket launchers, you can like jump and swing or something, and then the dumpster flies, and you can fly around the map in the dumpster. That was like a really fun glitch that people found. And then also I just remember that game having like all the skulls and a whole bunch of cool like multiplayer glitches and like weird jumping around
So
maps and
buggy.
stuff.
Yeah.
That game was
Yeah.
a mess. The best way.
But yeah, it was amazing, and so I did a quick thing about that, and I was like, well, he's probably not going to use it. This is about a glitch. It's not like it's
True.
it's
It's
sort of
not,
mysterious, but like
Right. Yeah.
I'll send it in just in case. And so
And he used it.
well, so the doc starts and it's a bunch of people talking about the rumors and stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, mine's not in here because obviously it doesn't fit. That's fine. And then like 10 minutes in, it's broken up into chapters, and the second chapter is about glitches.
Oh,
And so
you're right.
so 10 minutes in, it cuts to black, and I hear my voice. And
That's awesome.
and then I show up, and it's got footage of the glitch and everything, and I teared up a little bit. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
That's great.
And then from there on out, it was all developers. So it was like Jim Crawford and the guy. So Frog Fractions and The Witness, the guy who made
Jonathan
Witness.
Blow. Yeah.
Sweet.
John Blow.
Yeah.
And the guy who made Splunky.
Man.
So I was like,
That's
yeah.
a bit, yeah.
That's-
Hey.
yeah.
Video
really cool.
games is Brandt Hughes over here.
Yes, which somebody it got posted to the Giant Bomb subreddit, and they were like, "Oh, he's wearing a Giant Bomb hat," and I was like, "Hey, that's me, yeah." And then
Well, and also you had made a Giant Bomb video for This Is the Run too. That was kind of spread around too.
Yeah.
Like you're blowing up.
Yep. And then and Blender MF saw that on the Giant Bomb subreddit, and he was like, "Oh man, I wish I had watched the video with it before I read the comments, because then that would have been a cool moment to see me." And then and he mentioned how it was cool that I had No Clips, my Let's Play series,
Oh right.
and now I'm on No Clip.
on No Clip. That's great.
awesome, yeah.
Wow. Congrats, man.
Great, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't become the next big meme and leave us.
Oh boy.
That's for another time though.
But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Gadwag, GATOWAG. Also Instagram, Twitch, and some other places probably.
Yeah. Search
Yeah.
him down. Online stalk him. Don't do that. Don't do that. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Brightcast, BRYCS. I stream on the Night Attack channel sometimes too, on Fridays or Saturday nights. I announce it on Twitch, on Twitter though, so just follow me there. This show, you can find us at bizarrebriefing.com. God damn it. I need it. Almost. I got it right. Okay, it's bizarrebriefing. It's the. I just am not sure about the.
No, it's no the.
You can find us at bizarrebriefing.com to subscribe, get the YouTube, RSS, old episodes, Twitters, and all the other good things. If you want to watch us on YouTube, it's youtube.com/scamstuff. We do this show once a month on the last Tuesday of the month now because Weird Things has taken over the Monday daytime slot.
Yeah, 5:30 p.m. Central.
Yeah. Or follow our Twitters. We'll kind of announce it ahead of time.
Eventually.
And with that, it's been the Bizarre Briefing. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.